Good morning, good morning. It is day 21. And as I mentioned a few videos ago, there are a lot of philosophies that say it takes 21 days to start a new habit or to, get a new habit to set in. There are energetic components behind it as well, but in terms of, creating new space and generating that momentum that Create Momentum is all about, 21 days is a pretty good track record. So whether or not you've done them every day in a row, whether or not you've progressed through the videos and created your pieces, with a couple days in between, it does not matter whether you, did 5 in one day and sat down and created 5 different pieces. The important thing is that you are learning, we are all learning, how to let our intuition speak and to listen and to create a conscious space in which we are activated and we are expressing from the pure truth of us. So remember, it's all about your pure truth. It's not about what marks I make, what colors I use, what my composition is like, or any other artists as well. It's one thing to look up to someone and to have a mentor and to maybe glean pieces that you incorporate into your own authentic expression. And it is most important to allow your energy to come through, because you are the only one with your signature energy, with your signature codes. And so you are the only one who can create the art that you are here to create. And the same thing with any other artist. You can try to replicate, and your art will never have their energy. It will never have their signature. And so in order for your creations to have the most life, to have the most impact on yourself and others, allow your truth to come through. All right, I haven't done this a while, so we're just going to flip through day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8, day 9, day 10. I think this one might be one of my favorites so far. Day 11, day 12, day 13, day 14, it's another favorite, day 15, day 16, day 17, day 18, day 19, day 20, and day 21. I didn't show you my supplies because they are pretty much the same. I think they are exactly the same as the ones I had out yesterday, with the exception of these watercolors. These are handmade watercolors by Ruby Mountain Paint Company out of Fort Collins, Colorado, near where I used to live in Loveland, actually. And she pours her handmade watercolors into bottle caps and secures them with magnets. I really love her colors. I really love the texture of her paints. So these are the watercolors that I do have out, and I also have my colored pencils as well. Just a variety of things. Feeling the desire to be a little slower and more intentional. Not that I'm not intentional, but in terms of instead of making lots and lots of movements today, I'm just feeling like making fewer movements and seeing what happens. Really using a lot of water, you can see. And this also, I've mentioned before, this notebook I've decided to use, this Illo sketchbook. It is not a watercolor book. I mean, obviously you can use watercolor on anything, but you'll notice how with the water-based media the pages kind of buckle, and I don't care about that. So I actually enjoy the variety. You can kind of see the granulation of the paints, which is something I really love about a lot of handmade watercolors. From craft makers, is that there is a texture that again really adds to, in my opinion, the life of the piece. All right. Ooh, and I'm really loving can kind of see. I mean, I'll probably show you at the end, but if I bring you closer, you can really see the texture in that watercolor. So cool as it's separating. So I really love that. I'm just dabbing in some more of that green. See what lovely things happen. And now I am gonna bring out this alcohol marker and just make some little dots. Bringing that through. I'm going to do some more up here. So I was talking before at the beginning about our truth. And really, your truth is a signature frequency. And so it is really important to and even if you can't recognize it, like qualify it or describe it or anything, the important thing is to be conscious of the energy that you are bringing through. And one clue is anytime there is an agenda attached or you're attached to an outcome, or trying, anytime that you're trying, it's got that vibe to it that actually blocks off your authentic voice. So anytime you're trying, anytime you are not creating but replicating, it pulls all of the energy out of the creation. Because if you're replicating, that energy has already been, it's already out there, right? It's somebody else's signature. And because it's already out there as their signature, even anything that you create in the same style is not going to, it's not only not going to have their signature, but it's not going to have your signature because you are creating, how do I describe it? You're not creating, you're duplicating or replicating, or you're trying to follow a formula, right? And true creative expression is not formulaic. I think that's a very important distinction, is that true creation is pure and full of life and beauty. And anytime you are replicating or duplicating, and it's not to say, you can definitely pick up techniques from a variety of places, right? Learning technique and applying it to your own creations, or playing around to see how a technique may complement something that you are already inspired to do is totally different. But when you are, or if you're learning a technique and you're kind of going to create the same piece as another artist in order to practice that technique and to see if you, quote, got it right, although in my opinion, in my sensing, there is no right and wrong when it comes to art. And so essentially you never have to create what they're creating because your choice of subject would most likely be different if you were in your pure and authentic expression, and your incorporation of their techniques would probably be different as well. So no two people are going to express the same technique with the same style, with the same energy is really the key. And feeling, so I'm just kind of making my way around here and feeling what's going next. And what's coming around. And so when I'm creating, I am in the moment, and I am not focusing on what comes next. Sometimes I do have a general intention when I'm using mixed media. Oh, I love how those two colors are granulating together. I do have a general intention about, you know, being aware of how media reacts and knowing that if I want to give myself more options, sometimes it's easiest to start with, they say, you know, the most transparent media first, because you can always layer the more opaque media on top. So that's one way I'm kind of digging into some of this wetness here and playing with that texture. Kind of going to blend over the watercolor here. So the key is really letting yourself play. Letting yourself sit down to the session and explore. You know, I'm exploring now, you know, I'm dragging this chalk pastel through some wet watercolor, some on blank paper, some directly over the watercolor. And there we go. And we're just playing, like, and I feel like I'm gonna try this over here now. And just really sinking in. And I mean, you've probably noticed that I tend to use a lot of different colors. Today I'm not really feeling the urge to use a bunch of different colors. I am feeling, I'm just really digging these colors right here. And again, I'm not planning, so, you know, this could continue. I could stop right now, but just making a note of what's going on and what my intuition has led me to is really what I'm doing. Really feeling my way around. So this is feeling like it is going to be a pretty short session today. I am feeling like I was going to break out my purple marker, but now I'm feeling like I want to break out my purple. I just have a baggie of some oil pastels, including the Portfolio water-soluble oil pastels. I'm just going to layer in some more marks here. Just adding. And again, this is feeling my way through it. I am not trying or not trying to do anything in particular. For whatever reason, these little marks are super fun, so I'm making more of them. There we go. And I brought that in, and now I'm feeling like adding a little bit more mark-wise, some different fields here. And I'm noticing that this has become kind of a quiet, introspective, creating day, which is absolutely fine. And I noticed that I'm kind of alternating using the side of the pastel with using the point of the pastel to make some different marks there. And now I'm kind of dragging it through the puddles of watercolor and spreading that around just to see what would happen. And I feel inspired too. So it's not a mental process of, I wonder how I can make this different, or I wonder how I can make this look like this. It's really an intuitive process. Feeling like there wants to be a little more down there. And all right, I got my Portfolio oil pastel. I'm kind of feeling back into the watercolor. And I'm feeling like adding some of this. I think I'm gonna mix up some of the yellow and the red to make kind of an orange. And just dab that in. Noticing when it's kind of mixing and when it's kind of puddling. Again, not as a, I'm trying to direct this, just an observance of what comes through. Really dab that. And I'm just having fun. It's really the point. The point is to have fun and to allow yourself to express your own. And if you don't know, you don't have to know. The whole point of intuitive creating is that it's not, you don't sit down and say, okay, here's the piece I'm gonna create, and here's the supplies I need, and here's the step by step that I need to go through. The intuitive piece really does mean that you let your intuition lead and just pay attention moment by moment to what you are inspired, what your next inspired move might be. So now I'm noticing this is kind of dabbled in there, and all right, so this is feeling pretty complete to me. The only other thing now I'm suddenly feeling inspired to do is to do some little spatters. With this, I think it's kind of a Prussian blue. And the thing with spatters, is you can't control them, so that's what makes it even more fun when you're creating intuitively. All right, let's move you over to the side here. Here we come. Nice sunny day. You can see how the sun is shining brightly on the railing here. Bring it in for some texture. Noticing that intuitive creation the mixing of media, the layering of marks, the organic texture. There we go. And I'll bring you back up above here. So there is our final spread. All right, day 21, how'd it go? Are you feeling more comfortable? Are you feeling braver? Are you feeling stronger? Are you still questioning what really is your intuition and what's not? If you are finding yourself hesitating, I encourage you to go at it kind of haphazardly, if you will, like I've done in some of my spreads where I've just created all kinds of crazy marks. Just let yourself go crazy and get that energy moving. And from there, you may notice a new calm beginning to develop in this space we are creating to hold the momentum for moving forward. See you tomorrow.